Okay, hello everyone and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackert,
And I'm Leonka Reyna.
and this is the Haute Hustle Morning Show. Today we're talking with Beth Dobler, and we are going to talk about some of the things that she did as a trial attorney that really activated her intuition.
Yeah,
And then we're going to take it into neuroenergetic somatic healing and how she works with people to heal their trauma.
it'll be really fascinating. I think, one of the things that I think that is so fascinating to me is, yes, I came from the corporate world, but to be a trial attorney turned spiritual,
No,
and then
like off.
like full out with it, right?
Mhm.
It's got to be one of those journeys, and she's been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, so golly, pioneer for us,
Oh, I
right?
know.
I love it.
I've interviewed her once in the past, and it really just was like, oh my goodness, it was so good.
Oh, it's gonna be a good show then.
Yeah.
But first up, we've got a little bit of Mystic Space Weather News. For today's Mystic Space Weather News, it comes to us from spaceweather.com, always uses NOAA. So it says auroras love equinoxes. Today is the first day of northern spring. The good news for sky watchers, because auroras again love equinoxes, and then researchers call it the Russell McFernan, I think I'm saying this correctly, effect. At this time of year, cracks form in the Earth's magnetic field. Even a weak stream of solar wind can penetrate to spark a good display of those auroras. So lots of stuff going on. There is going to be another conjunction of our planets pretty soon here. And one of the things that I wanted to point out from the last conversation that we had with Suzanne, if you didn't catch that interview, definitely do. It was the one that we did on Tuesday, so that would be 318. It was fascinating. And one of the things that we had kind of really started to hone in is that there's been a shift in the energy. And I don't know if you guys can, and I know your star seeds on this. If you're watching this, you probably have picked up on this in the energy all over, right? So the Earth's magnetic field, yes, it's different, but there has been a change. And she and I both were kind of like pointing this out,
Mm.
even Jenneth as well. From what she, because her channeling abilities came online, and what I was going to talk about was that first planetary alignment. Something from that first conjunction
Yep.
has shifted, and then it has become even more amplified by some of these charged particles that are hit, the light that is being flooded to the earth. And so this is exactly what has been described to us as a part of the ascension process.
Mhm.
Now, it's going to speed up even faster is the information that I'm getting through some of my channeled messages here in the next, I mean, we're talking weeks here. So just know that you can always ground, you can always drink lots of water. I always say these things, give yourself grace, know that you're not going crazy. I had that feeling yesterday. I was like all over the place. Like for the last week, 2 weeks,
Mm.
I couldn't settle. I had dreams that were like super vivid, which you'll have as well. But in the next coming weeks, you'll also have this heightened ability. So really channel in and lean in, because everyone here can channel. Anything that you do is art form is channeling. So really lean into calling forth and asking yourself questions. What can I learn from this, unsettling? What more is needed of me? What more can my, body, energy, space, consciousness can be? And how can I serve that back to the world?
Mm.
And then be a greater contribution for Gaia. Because I think this is a lot about anchoring this back into these energies back into Mother Gaia. And she will also, oh, this is coming through. She will also contribute back to us and have us feel more tethered
Mm.
to Earth and to each other, because that's the really main premise, is to knowing that we all have this unified experience in the universe. And so that's what I got for today's Mystic Space Weather News. And there we go.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, so in the morning brew, uh, I was actually going to talk about something else, but it brought up something when she was talking about the planets aligning. And I mean, just to go back, if you don't know me and you haven't heard it, I on January 25th, we had an event with like all many channels on it. And
It was a full day
it
of
was just a
just,
full day.
yes,
It's called a
activations.
Rewire immersion.
Yeah.
And I went to bed that last night and I just kind of like played, when your eyes are closed and you're in that imagination state. And I was like, I wonder, when, like if I were going to be a channel, like who would that be and stuff like that. And that's really the initial start of it. And then it was almost like that this energy started speaking to me very clearly
Oh, it's
and very telepathically and was saying things that just absolutely wouldn't be me. I mean,
Isn't
the
that
words that they were
fascinating?
saying, it's like, no, I would never say that. And yet it felt so energetically light. So
Yes.
if you see some Arcturian transmissions come out through the newsletter, that's where they're coming from. Is her name is Ormetis. It's a female type of entity, and they're really quite profound. They've told us about first contact and things like that. So that's some of the cool woo that I have for you.
Yay. I love
Uh,
it.
just wanted to remind you guys, while we're doing this work, there's this study, it's called kymatics, and it's measures your emotions in frequencies. And I was watching a Gaia episode about this, and there was an actress that was just incredibly good at turning on and off her
Oh,
emotions. So he
interesting.
did it with her, and he's like,
Uh-huh.
okay, so think of something really sad, and then he would have the frequency input, and then it would outplay from a piano. And then he'd say, think of something that makes you super angry, and then the piano would be like, boom, boom, boom.
Fascinating.
Well, and it was fascinating for him too. He's like, most people are really good at tuning and attuning their
Uh,
emotions. But because she was an actor and trained in this, she was just like, done. Like just could step into
Interesting.
total sadness just like that.
Well, I also believe that when actors and actresses are truly being, they are doing a form of channeling, like
Mhm.
becoming that.
Yes, they
That.
they are
Yeah.
they are being
Yes.
that in
Yes.
that moment
Yes.
in time.
Yeah.
So just some awareness. That's how fast you can do this stuff, you
Yeah.
guys. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can be like, I am so frustrated and angry, and be like, wait, I'm an actor. I am happy and joyful and in glee. And think about it.
Joe's clapping.
Yeah,
Yes.
it deserves a
That's
clap, right?
that's
And a high
empowering.
five all around.
Right. Yes. That's yes. Let's do more of that. Yes. Lots of high fives on the thing on the video. But it was kymatics that when I saw how that works with Greg Braden's
Mhm,
video, and he has something that I think I want to say in the 90s.
mhm,
It was an old video of him, and when I saw how it manipulated of the water
mhm,
and sand, and I saw how the
mhm.
geometry was
Yep.
being shown, I was like, oh my gosh, hands down, this is how it works. This is quantum
Yeah.
physics. This is really how thoughts create things. And I
Yeah.
was done. I was like, you didn't have to convince me anymore. That was
Yeah.
really the thing that broke me. Like
Yeah.
I'm all in.
I feel like I we talk about this, we talk about overcoming your limiting beliefs
Mhm.
and coming out of like, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all frequency. And we have recently made you guys a new program for each of the chakras and the hertz frequencies that line up with it. So I hope that if you see our newsletter, give it a peek. There's some sample tasters in there. I just wanted to remind you guys about that as we're talking about frequency. I really feel that my life and my business can now be led by frequency instead of by, just kind of a roll toss of the coin.
Right, right.
Like, I'm no longer in that, something happened to me in life.
Yes.
2 days ago, our AC died, and we live here in Texas. And, basically it's 10 years old and it is about ready for a whole new remodel, right? It's ready for a new one. And I'm just like, I don't want to pay for it. But then at the same time, I do need a good, efficient AC here in
You have
Austin,
to. Yes,
Texas.
you do. Yes. Yes. It's a
And
necessity.
so it flipped inside of me from this like, oh, I have to get this to I get to get this
Hmm.
for a beautiful summer.
Yes. True.
And I don't think that even 10 years ago that coin would flip inside of me. It would have been more like,
Boo.
this is the worst thing ever that you've got to buy.
That happened to me.
That happened to me,
Yeah.
right? Well, I'm going to go ahead and bring Beth up and we will really get started and get into this. I'm loving this topic, neuroenergetic
Me too.
somatics, which will all be about frequency too. So fun. Hey, Beth, you are muted.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está usted, señora?
Señora.
I'm talking with no words, but you're not listening.
I know. And we lost your video for a second, so we
Yep.
can see your lovely smile.
It's that kind of day.
Hey, it is. Hey, we'll take it. It's all good.
Am I
This is
all
live.
here now?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
So jumping right in, listening to you about the air conditioner, I get to build my life after the
Yeah.
fire.
Mhm.
For those who don't know, I'm
Yeah.
in Altadena, and that means I was there when the fires erupted and marched up the mountain and across my town. And it is true. I get to reinvent myself. I get to deal with the somatic changes that are happening in my body because of that trauma, that experience, the grief, and all that it's bringing up on this, the day of the equinox, where we're moving from winter to summer or summer to winter, depending on which end of the planet you live on.
Right.
And we have the opportunity to reinvent ourselves all over again. We get to do that. And that's what epigenetics are about. That's what shifting your DNA is about.
Mm-hmm.
What environment are you creating for yourself? You can have the most beautiful, genetically perfect rose and plant it in your garden. And if you don't create the right environment for that to thrive, you're not going to get that most beautiful, fabulous rose that you saw at the nursery where the rose was getting everything it needed for its environment to make it be that beautiful blossom. So, what are you not doing to create the environment that aligns with the experience you want to have?
Mm. And a lot of that, when you ask the question, it truly comes from, it's all about me, right? Yeah, I'm being lazy in this area, or I have a comfort zone that I've hit in that area. And so I will shrink down. And it really brings up every single limiting belief that you could have with
And you
just
have
that
to
one simple
you have to
question
look
of,
at them, right? You have to stare them in the face and say, is this me? Is
true.
this the thought that I am wanting to express in my
Right.
field? Because thoughts become things. Everything is energy. What I put out is what I'm going to get back. I mean, think of a surfer. The perfect wave. They paddle in, they get ready to go, and then they just stop. And what happens? Well, if you're not hitting the wave just right, you might be crushed.
Mm-hmm.
You might go under. You might get lucky and sort of catch it and peter out. But if you go for it, if you meet the energy of the wave with the energy of the wave, you're going to meet God.
Ooh,
I'm
that's
like,
a good meme.
so let me
And
play a
it's
little bit of like the opposite effect, Beth. Like for me, these last couple of days, I just felt lethargic. Now it could just be hormones, it could be whatever, but it was hard for me to have the gun. Like I knew what I needed to be doing. I knew all the reasons why. I knew what blah blah blah.
Gumption.
For me to have that gumption, but But and so then I'm like, I don't want to be putting this out to the universe. Like then I get even more upset with myself because I'm like, this is not the energy that I want to be creating because I don't want it to be mirrored back to me. So
Listen,
what do
can
you
I
tell
stop you?
somebody like, yes, what do you tell someone
Stop
that
trying to do so much
ah
and be.
okay.
One of the things I'm learning, and I guess I have a colleague who calls them fans, which feels odd to talk about people on my newsletter list as fans, but this woman, Maria, bless you, Maria. I don't know her. I've never met her. We obviously have met in the etheric, but we have not met in the physical. She responded to my invite for the show. And one of the things that she said was, why didn't your angels tell you to leave before the fire happened? Meaning, why were you even there? And I
Oh,
said,
weird.
that's the long answer. I will thank you for inviting that. I will prepare and send out. So for anybody who wants to hear the blessings of the fire, subscribe to my newsletter because sometime soon Maria has been tasked with holding me accountable. This wonderful woman I've never met. But the truth is, I needed to have the experience to process all manner of trauma and grief that I'm still carrying.
Wow.
Grief, and that's the somatic part of healing your nervous system. Grief is really heavy physically. And even if you don't know that you're grieving, you're feeling it, and you may not have the gumption. You may need to lay down. The trauma therapist, bless her heart, so much miraculous stuff happens, and people are so giving. I'm getting free sessions with this therapist who says, well, I don't. I said, thank you for helping me with my trauma. And she said, well, I don't think of it as helping you. I think of helping a colleague who's going through a tough time.
Oh.
And I offer that to you, Leonka. Am I saying your name right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Treat yourself like you are the colleague.
I love
And
that.
if you need to lay down, because this is what I needed, right? I'm going through all this rebuilding, but this woman is saying, you know what? If what your body needs is to lay down, that's what you need to do. Another woman who talked about processing trauma from a Northern California fire where she lost her house. She moved to Maui and then lived through Lahaina, and her 36-year-old boyfriend died in a motorcycle accident. And she didn't cry at all. And then all of a sudden, one day, it all washed over, and she said, I slept for 7 months other than working, because sleeping is the best way to process the heaviness of grief in your body. So in our modern society, and I'm certainly a product of that, having been a single mother who put herself through college and law school and had a career as a litigator, which is only notable in the context of being a single mother because you do not have regular hours ever.
Right.
So it's not easy. And I had a lot of support and family help, but this is the reality. I had my child when I was 18 and I was a single mom, and this is how it was. I wouldn't be who I am if I hadn't pushed through those glitchy, no gumption. You didn't have the option to have or not have gumption. You got your butt up and you did what you had to do every day. You went into court, even if you felt like crumbling and crying, and you put on that suit and you did what you had to do. That's not how you get from here to where you want to be. That's how you stay in the rat race. When you're in the doing, you're not creating that lovely petri dish to manifest miraculously with ease and grace. You actually stepped into the mud and you're trying to slog through that to get yourself up, to have the gumption to do the stuff that you want to do, when that may not even be the stuff you need to do. I heard a man speak once. He was not a monk, but he was as close to a monk as one could be without being one. And he said, I never do anything without first asking the universe what is mine to do. And I thought, at the time I heard him speak, wow, that's a different life than I lead. I don't have the option, to say, no, I'm not going to pick my grandsons up from school today because I don't feel it. So
feel like
within
it.
that context of what is mine to do today and what does the divine have for me today, you can find structure if you're in tune and be, right?
like
so
that.
there may be something you have to do, like get your air conditioner fixed. So I'm not going to do what the non-monk does and sit there and say, is it in my highest good to call about the
It's in my
about
highest
the air
good.
conditioner,
It is in your eyes, good.
right? And then
Yes.
shift your perspective about what is yours to do in the day.
Yeah.
And once you make that call, right, and you've got that set up, now you can sit and say, what is mine to do? And if what is yours to do at that moment is get back in bed, then that's what you need to do. It may only be 20 minutes,
Right.
30 minutes, right? And then you're restored and you can go on about your business. You will never get a different result doing the same thing. And if you keep doing without adding in enough time and stillness, you're not going to be able to shift anything because you're too wrapped up in keeping things going that way, right? Do you want to be this or do you want to be this?
Yeah, I've been that for too long. It was the so-called secret to my success, but then that didn't work anymore.
Well, and so I think Joe Dispenza really has it on point. We work matter to matter. Like we think we've got to do all these things instead of really coming from the energy that I really only need to send 5 emails to the people that I'm really called to send them
Right.
to, that are really going to move the dial on
Whatever it is,
whatever it
working.
is.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
Perfect.
No, I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Instead of it being this overwhelming task.
Yeah.
And then of course I didn't, it wasn't coming up from, I get to do that. Actually, I kind of was, but I really think that my body just was like, look, chill out for a little while. And I finally did do that. And I ended up staying up, after we had some cake and I had a little bit of sugar on me. And then I was like sending out emails and doing what I need to do. But I did need to do that rest. I had to.
So I want to dive deeper into this, and I really want to dive deeper in it for the audience so that they
Yes.
can feel like they're participating
Yes.
in a true somatic training from you.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry, I was just reading the comments. Hi,
yeah.
everybody. Go ahead. Keep
So
going.
one of the things that you brought up when you were talking was, there are times when you don't feel like it. And I really feel that I know that the word feel like is really truly a trigger. Oftentimes, if people feel like doing something, they do it. And if they don't feel like doing it, then they don't do it. Now, in the scenario that you shared, you said with, like, if I don't feel like picking up my grandson, well, I just got to gumption up and do it anyway. So when somebody is stuck in the feelings of something and they won't choose something because they don't feel like it, what is your advice and how might we help people get out of that if they've really been stuck in their feelings and they're taking all their action from their feelings instead of really from the vision of a future?
So from the neurogenic, epigenetic shift perspective of somatic healing, that feeling that is, it's interesting. There's so much coming through and there's so many different ways to answer that question. But in terms of strictly focusing on the feeling and the somatics of it, instead of giving over to that feeling, what you want to do is take a breath and align yourself in the center of you and then do a body scan. Where do I feel this resistance? Or however it's coming to you. I'm choosing that word because what you're describing is being resistant. This feeling is resisting what you need to do. And why I say there's so many different ways to answer that. I mean, that could be an egoic programming. Your ego on left brain, mental mind, is overriding your right brain, divine feminine. So there could be many things going on, but the way to move past it in a higher way is to do that body scan and feel. So, Leonka, if I may use you,
Yes,
from
of course.
when you felt that way, if you can recreate that moment of, I just can't do this, I don't want to, just close your eyes right now and take a deep breath in.
I'll be the music of the frequency. Go ahead.
Where do you,
Sorry.
there you go. Where do you feel that energy of, I just can't send these emails, I don't want to do this, I don't have the juice? Where do you feel that sensation in your body?
Like right here, my solar plexus.
Keep your hand there.
Okay.
And take your other hand and put it on the front side.
Okay.
And now I want you to feel the energy connecting from your palms into your solar plexus, both the back side and the front. Take a deep breath in and tell that energy, I love you. I hear you.
I hear you. Woo!
I'm going to listen to you, and you no longer have to send me resistance.
I hear you, and I'm going to listen to you, and you no longer have to send me resistance, the feelings of resistance.
I will hear you now. What do you want me to know?
I will hear you now. What do you want me to know?
There you go. Now you can let it go. You did very well. The laughing energetically, intuitively, and the guidance is your laughter or tears that want to come through. Laughing is good. Smiling is good. You need to do this process when you're by yourself and let those tears flow. We are cultured not to cry.
Yes.
Especially if you're embodied in a masculine form, or if you're a woman performing the masculine, the patriarchal structures definition of a masculine job, which is making things happen, taking care of things on your own, all those things. We have to do it in balance, and we have to let the tears flow, because we're cultured that it's not good to cry. You're weak. It's not the right thing. Tears are cleansing. It's like a river. It's the feelings not getting trapped in your body. That's the somatic process, is you need to release it.
Yes.
Now, there's many other ways to do it energetically, obviously, than simply crying. But as any of my clients, many of whom are on the call right now, will tell you, I'm always saying, let the tears flow. It's cleansing. I mean, raise your hand if you've heard me say that before. Let the tears flow. Thank you, Pat. Everybody else is off camera, but it's important. If you don't let your emotions out, then they get trapped in your body. And now you have a problem where, for example, I moved 16 months before the fire. I was where you were, Leonka, all day long for weeks. I didn't want to move. In fact, Jenith, this is so interesting. I have to check the dates, but when I was meditating in preparation for this show, it came through right after I moved. You and I had our first show. I just moved here, and now we're having the show.
Wow.
So I will reach back out to you because this just came through this morning. I'm like, I don't know what this means. I also heard a great horned owl a few weeks into when I first moved to Altadena. And 2 weeks ago, I heard one here. And that's the only time in my life I've ever heard a great horned owl. And both times it's right after I've moved. So in any case, I pushed through. I was very traumatized by the news that I had to move, didn't want to move. My knee started acting up. I have some knee issues, have had some knee issues, and I didn't care. I put a brace on and I just kept pushing through. I didn't ice. I didn't do anything I know to do. Well, I didn't actually know to do that because I hadn't had the physical therapy yet. And then when I got to the new place in Altadena, I did the same thing. I remember my cousins coming to visit me about 2 months after I had moved in, and they had moved into their new place a year prior. And my cousin said, how long have you been here? And I said, 6 weeks. And you've got pictures up. I said, I was very egoically justifying my insane behavior while I'm limping and can't walk a block with them because I've blown out my knee because I was having all this trapped trauma and trapped emotions in my body. And I didn't listen. I pushed through. I stayed in the doing. And then I was patting myself on the back like, yeah, I can't just, I work from home. I can't just be in here with this mess. What?
I get it.
And this time I go to meet the smoke remediators, and I know I'm going to have to, whatever, I have to get rid of stuff. I have to store stuff. I have to bring stuff here. And so the moving energy is there, even though I'm not strictly speaking moving that day. I walked in the house, got there early before anybody came, and I stood there and my knee twinged and it started throbbing. And I reached down and grabbed my knee and I said, I love you. I hear you. I am not going to abandon you. I am not going to push through. In fact, I'm going to go sit down right now. And then I said, oh, wait, nothing's been cleaned. I can't sit down, but I will stand here with my hand. And I just closed my eyes and let the energy, the healing energy in my palm seep into my knee. I now live on the second floor and the bathroom is downstairs. So when I moved to that apartment, I only had 4 stairs, and that was on purpose. I told my daughter, people who are helping me look for places, I can't have stairs because I can't do stairs with my knees. Now I'm up and down the stairs multiple times a day.
Wow.
And it's a year and a half later. Now I did do physical therapy. So you have to do all the things, right? Remember the idea. How do we heal somatically? How do we clear trapped emotions? How do we shift our DNA? It's all about the environment. I had to create a proper environment for my body with what I'm eating, drinking, how I'm exercising, doing all the things, icing if there's inflammation, getting therapy. I have to pay attention. This is not magic, right? Energy healing, somatic healing, DNA shifting, it's all quite miraculous. And you can reverse age if you are willing to shift your environment. But it's not going to happen because you sit there and say, reverse aging. I mean, yes, you have to.
That's a piece of it. It's like
you have to hold that. But if you think that alone is going to get you what you want, then you're just fooling yourself.
So it's really about taking inspired action from that too, from that request of the field. That's how
and
I like
listening,
to put that.
right? Mm-hmm. Listening to what, not pushing through and doing what you decide. Your brain is saying, well, if you do this or you do that. No, that's not it. You have to feel it, right?
Yeah.
When we have those feelings, we feel we don't want to do what we don't want to do. We feel joyful. We feel pain. We feel tired. These are all signals, energetic signals that are being transmitted to us somatically. Why are we not paying attention?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the biggest question that you've said this whole call. Why aren't we? And why don't we have awareness on all these things and requesting and asking and requesting and asking?
I just don't think we've learned it that way.
We've been conditioned. Yeah.
And on top of that, if you do learn it, sometimes maybe you don't believe it, right? You don't really
or don't practice it.
Right.
You see, that's the thing.
There you go.
None of this is one and done. Right? Do you drink water every day? Do you breathe every day? Do you sleep every day? Do you have a spiritual practice every day? If you do not, and you think that you're going to be able to create miracles and shift and manifest, you are just lying to yourself.
You got to say that again for the people in the back row. My goodness, that was good.
People in the back row.
I mean, do you want to change or do you want to stay the same? Because I mean, it's such an age-old saying, but the height of insanity is thinking you can get a different result doing the same thing. Yeah. I can't push through my knee pain and think my knee is going to give me its best reflection of itself. in radiant, vibrant health. You can't have both. You can't. I saw on a show the other day, this guy was eating gummy worms and saying how delicious they were. And the other person said, you know, those are poison. They're killing you. And the guy held the worm up and said, not today, not tomorrow. And it tastes real good, and throws it in his mouth. And I sat there talking to the TV. I said, but that third day, that's when you're going to start feeling that poison hitting your body. And you're not going to, if you're not paying attention, it'll be the 23rd and the 203rd. And now there's some physical problems that are happening because you weren't paying attention. Do I like junk? Sure. Do I have to argue with myself when I want to go buy some fast food? Not much anymore, but every now and again. And 9 times out of 10, if I give in, it doesn't do what I thought it was going to do, because there again, that urge to do the thing that's not healthy is not natural. It's not coming from your body. Your body's never going to ask for what's going to kill it. That's your ego.
Interesting.
That's your wounded heart. That's your trapped trauma. That's your fear. That's why we have to do somatic, transformative, epigenetic, neurogenic, transformational at the cellular level. You have to support it in all ways. And a spiritual practice of movement and meditation, time and stillness, of communing with nature, of talking with your higher self and your team. I mean, every single one of you has intuitive gifts and has the ability to have a direct line to Mother, Father, God, to the universe, to all the angels. Are you picking up the phone when they call? Or are you hanging it up and letting the answering machine go to voicemail? I hear you. I see you, Joe. I see you. Pick up the phone.
Right.
Listen. And when they tell you something, believe it.
Yeah.
When they told me this morning, there is something you need to check out, something you need to register regarding having done the show with you right after I moved to Altadena. And now here I am doing a show with you right after I moved out of Altadena. I didn't need to get up and go check my calendar because I trust. That's true. What they're saying is true. And I will check it out later to just not to verify, not out of doubt, but to inspire what more I'm to understand about the significance of that.
Yes.
Yeah. I recently saw this license plate that I felt was for me, because we follow these angel numbers, these triple numbers and these things, right? I shared this in the Mystique Facebook, the pictures and everything. And one of the license plate, I'm like at the grocery store and I'm behind a car and it says TBJ 2222. And I read that like, to Jeneth Blackert, here's your angel number. And I'm like, ha ha, universe, that's cute, right? Well, as soon as and I almost like wanted to grab my camera and snap that one. And so my phone is next to me, the camera's out. I pull out and I get in line with, to turn left to go home and this, that, and the other. And as I turn in line, I see another license plate that says TJB, and then it has a number. Like, it's not just an angel number. I'd screenshot that. I take a picture of it because I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
Now, this can't be a coincidence. This has got to be a sign. And I looked up the acronym for the number, and it gives me all this beautiful message.
Oh, that's right.
And I posted on that in the Inner Circle Facebook group, but it was directly to me. It was like, told me about, I'm in a great relationship, this, that, and the other. And it said, there's going to be house money at some time. And we are currently selling our beach house. So we're like, I brought it home and I said, Joe, like the wording, even in the message is like, okay. And I just wanted to share that because I sense that there is nothing at all that is on accident anymore. It is
It's true.
all purposeful. And I didn't live that way until probably about 5 years ago. Or I mean, maybe not even ever. Like I'm just starting to now, just starting to be like, what? Wait. And even if it's just a kind of quirky thing, I think it's awful fun.
It sure is.
Yeah.
I find myself really being guided by what I call my, spirit guide librarians, right? So they will show me what is next to be studied. But it took a long time for me to trust that. What do you say to someone, or how do you use these type of insights? How often are you going to give us a little bit of, kind of what it looks like in your world with that?
So awareness, thank you, Pat, is the
Yes.
key to any situation, to reading it, to receiving it, to being receptive to what's coming through. So, for example, working with the client, I see a hummingbird outside the window. I know a hummingbird is one of my spirit animals. I know when the hummingbird shows up when I'm in session, whether it's showing up for me or that person, I
Wow.
pause and look and sense. And if it is showing up for the client, then I may offer, here are some of the things that a hummingbird symbolizes. But what you need to do, and this is not to get the message, strictly speaking, I can deliver the message, but am I keeping myself the one who has to be the translator, or am I empowering you to be your own interpreter? And so I train my clients to Google spirit animal, totem animal, however you want to put it, and put in the hummingbird. A bunch of different sites are going to pop up. Go through them and find what resonates, find what expands your heart, what lights you up, what gets you excited. That's the message for you. Now, you could say, one could say, well, that's just you picking and choosing. No, that's you tuning into the inner awareness, the conscious, mindful awareness of what is the message. You and I can be talking words, right? That's our language, words. We can be exchanging words, and there can be no meeting of the minds if I'm not open and available to hearing what you're actually saying, and vice versa. So the idea is, don't get tricked up because they're using a different language. Energetically, sensitivities are available that will allow you to get that message if you trust. But you have to trust. You have to trust. And if you need to, which happens a lot with clients who work with me regularly and therefore have access to me by text, I'm like, if you have a question, just text me. Hey, I'm getting this. What are you getting? Or they'll text me, what are you getting about this? And then 9 times out of 10, depending on the person, what are you getting?
Uh-huh.
And once they tell me what they're getting, then I tell them what I'm getting, because that way the verification and the proof that the egoic left brain mental mind for most people needs to be quiet and go away and wait for your marching orders. That's the doing part of our brain. If we're not at the place yet of knowing what is ours to do, then we don't want that activated, right? Mm-hmm. So you sit with it and you discern, what is this saying to me? The same way that you would say to someone, if you weren't sure, did you just say ABC or did you say 1, 2, 3? Because you're trying to discern, you're trying to understand, you're trying to come together with that person. So do that with the higher wisdom intelligence that's reaching out everywhere. For example, the very first time I did a show years ago, I was so nervous, which was really bizarre to me. I have handled multi-million-dollar cases in a courtroom, but I'm afraid to speak my heart and soul truth. But it was a new thing, and I was very scared and brand new to everything, the whole thing, you know, the marketing, the package, the whole, And so my then 6-year-old nephew says, Gigi, That's my grandma name, and the nephews call me that too. You need a pump it up song. And he's very intuitive. I said, well, what is my pump it up song? Oh, I can't tell you that. It's your pump it up song.
Yeah.
And I
Ally
said,
McBeal.
how do I find it? And he said, well, I guess you better start listening to some music. And so I, oh, so cute. You're so cute. And I'm in the store and I hear Eminem's The Moment. You gotta.
Yes, that's a good one.
I don't even like Eminem. Okay, that's the only Eminem song I know. You got to lose yourself in the moment, own it.
Yes.
You got to never let go.
Yes.
And now I don't agree with you got one shot. Now maybe that's true for someone like him. You can take what resonates and leave the rest.
Yeah.
So I hear it in the car and I'm like, oh, Eminem, that's interesting. I go in the store. It's playing in the store. Now, mind you, the song was probably about 10, 15 years old at that time. It's not something that you hear on the radio regularly.
Wow.
I heard it 5 times in 2 days before I said, hey, I think that's my Pump It Up song. And there I was. I teach people to do a grounding movement called swirl and twirl, where you plant your feet, ground your root into the earth, and then you move with music. And normally it would be, typically I would say, put on some high vibrational, high hertz frequency movement, something that lifts you up. I would not, generally speaking, be encouraging people to use popular music of any sort, because it just doesn't necessarily have the vibration of lifting. But trust, right? You trust. It's not hertz frequencies, but Eminem's The Moment is exactly what I needed to be able, because I was doing laser coaching in that first show as well. I worked with like 15 people in 14 minutes or whatever it was. It was insane.
Cool.
And it was fantastic, because as I was prepping, planted my feet and I'm doing all the stuff, and you pull in the energy you want to have and you push out the energy that you don't like. You bring this around and move that and bring it in. And it's like singing in the shower.
Yeah.
Dancing like no one's watching.
Should we take a few sessions? Can you do some mini sessions with some of the callers?
Sure.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay, guys, go ahead and raise your hand. Think of something that maybe you've been struggling with that you'd like Beth to just kind of pull out of your body. I think that's the best way to describe it. And let's just
a better would be them releasing, because I can't pull anything out if they won't let it go. Because here's the thing, even I can
You've got to be willing to let it go.
It's going to come right back if you're not willing to let go.
And while we get queued up, there was a question on the chat, and it says, I want to ask the guest speaker a question. What is the spiritual meaning of finding money? If that means anything to you.
Abundance. It means it's a energetic, cosmic symbol of blessing you with abundance. And the first time that I found significant money, it was a $50 bill. I was on a bridge and there was no one around, and I felt so guilty. I picked it up. I looked all around. I'm like, and this was probably 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, $50 is still $50, but 25 years ago. And I felt so bad for whomever dropped it, but I was near the Board of Trade and the Mercantile Exchange. And I'm like, this could be, who carries a $50 bill? I'm going through all this stuff in my mind. There's literally no one around me to give it back to, which is what my initial reaction. I was not open to receiving that gift. And what it caused me, I picked it up, I put it in my pocket. I felt like I was stealing. I look around like, are there cops coming to get me? This is the intensity of my resistance 25 years ago to abundance flowing my way.
Wow.
The best way to assess what is the meaning of that universal divine gift to you is to discern, how do you receive it? Are you willing? Are you grateful? Do you bless it? Do you say thank you? I ended up giving that money away. I gave it to, some charity or whatever, because it just didn't, I went through the process of opening to, this is a gift. I didn't steal. I didn't take this from someone. I'm sorry this person lost their $50, but I still couldn't get to the place of keeping that money. Now, if I saw the $50, I would give half away and keep half.
Well, and
Paying it
you've made a
forward.
conclusion that somebody lost it.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, what if they didn't lose it? Right? What if it literally was, a transference of energy?
And that's
Right?
all it
Like
is, too.
like it was,
She's
they
right.
didn't even notice they lost it. Or it could even be, right?
Well, and
But
that was part of my
it offers
thinking
some
too,
freedom.
right?
Mhm.
The bridge is the bridge between these two exchanges of commerce, that where rich people are congregating, making money every day. So
Yeah.
you're right. And that did come to my mind, but I still couldn't receive. So the answer to your question is sort of the same as when we were talking about spirit animals, which is, what does it mean to you? Because anyone can tell you a whole bunch of things of what this or that means, including angel numbers and all sorts of things. But the real truth is, what is it saying to you?
Agreed. Absolutely.
But
Right.
in general, it's abundance. It's a blessing of abundance. So receive it and ask for more if that's what you want, more abundance.
Yeah. All right, Manisha, you're up.
Hello, Beth.
Hi, Manisha.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Lianka. Beth, I'd love to release all the trauma in my body to attract abundance, financial abundance in my life.
Okay, so first thing, to release all of anything, especially all at once, is generally speaking not a good idea.
No.
Your physical body, right? Energy, everything is energy. If the air is energy and you can, move your hand easily through the air, that's one expression of energy. If you try to move your hand that same way through your couch, and you keep trying, you're going to hurt your arm. And it's the same thing with releasing. The body is dense, and when you release, you're creating a shift and space in the density of the energy. So you don't need to release everything that's trapped and traumatizing you in order to begin the process of manifesting abundance. So that's the first thing, is be mindful not to think you have to do all this clearing in order to be able to open. That's a limiting idea. That's your left brain, mental mind, ego trying to keep you in fear and trying to keep you small by making you think it all has to go before anything good can come in. So I want you to close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in. Feel into your feet and into your crown. Feel your crown connecting with the heavens and your feet connecting with the earth. And as you hold this state of synchronized stability, take a breath in. And when you think, abundance is mine with ease and grace, does any part of your body activate? Abundance is mine with ease and grace.
My heart.
Place your right hand on your heart and breathe. As you breathe, I want you to feel the laser-like heat and energy, the healing energy of your heart, of your hand moving into your heart. I want you to also turn your attention to the right side of your head. There's a stream of golden grace light flowing in through the right side, the divine feminine side of your brain. Breathe it in and let it come into your heart. Now, as that gold grace light is swirling and building in potency in your heart, feel the energy of the grace light meeting the healing energy of your palm. Take a breath in and let everything in your heart melt into that golden grace light. All discomfort, all resistance, all fear, all less than, not good enough, not going to happen, too late, not meant to, my family's so screwed up, I'm so messed up, abundance is someone else's experience, not mine. These are all the misguided ideations that are being carried. Let them melt into the grace light. Take a breath in. And now open your root chakra. And on the exhale, let everything dump out from the root into the earth. Release your hand. Take a breath in. And now open your eyes. Take a look about the space that you're in, giving your body a moment to integrate what's happening, what you've shifted, what you brought in. How does your heart feel now?
It's feeling much lighter because I released all the betrayal, the shame, the guilt, the anger, unworthiness. So all the negative emotions stored.
And so then the next step of the process when you're doing somatic neurogenic healing is you have to replace. Nature abhors a vacuum. So you've created a sort of vacuum. Yes, you brought in the golden grace light, but that was also used to transmute. So now you have this openness that you need to fill the space of, and you need to use powerful statements of manifestation of the abundance that you seek to have as if you already have it. So with regard to my health, for example, even when my knee was not right, my affirmation was, I am radiantly, vibrantly healthy. So you have to express in the positive as if it's already occurring, the experience you want, and then bring that into your heart. And you don't have to do it now, but if you'd like, you could email me after you do it, and we can go back and forth over whether you have the highest vibrational frequency associated with your intention statement to help you get to that level of abundance that you see.
Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you. It's amazing. Thank you, Lianka. Thank you, Janice. Thank you.
Wow. I that actually really affected me. Wow.
And
oh, that's cool.
I should have said this before, but everyone is able to use that work. Just apply it to the space that activates for you. Mm-hmm. And pretty much everybody's got something trapped in their heart anyway. So
yeah. It was almost the same place exactly. I was almost like, is it hers or mine?
It was really pretty.
Yes, we're all one, you know.
Right.
Everything is energy, and we're all connected.
It was so cute because I couldn't see after I opened my eyes. Everything was really hazy and I was still trying to integrate. And you had this beautiful light that's right on your,
I know I keep seeing it's distracting me, and I keep moving. I'm like,
but
I guess it's meant to be there, but
I know. And I was like, yeah, that's so fitting because I feel that.
I feel that heat coming down.
It was neat. It was very neat.
All right, let's take a couple more. Pat, you're up.
Hello, Beth.
Hello, Pat. How are you, my darling?
I'll tell you, after working with Beth since 2018,
wow,
it's been a while, hasn't it?
Indeed, it has. We've been on this journey for a while.
A long time. And my favorite affirmation is surrender, trust, and allow.
Yes.
And I have to just mention that today, I don't know, you may hear, I have been in the process of having my bathroom remodeled. Hi, Trish. and it's been delayed. I started this in September. And just recently, I know there's been a lot of things that held it up, but I've been praying, asking my guides everyone, because I have guardian dragons and guardian angels, and I have some guides that are people who used to be here, including my dog, and and then I talk to the fairies, pixies, sprites, house elves in my environment, and I thank all of the archangels for being here, and I thank Gaia, who I love and have studied, and also the universe, because I'm also studying that. So bringing in all these connections, I do this every day in the morning before I get out of bed, when I go to bed at night, express my gratitude. And I have been focusing on trying to get this bathroom remodel started because my life is kind of on hold. I can't go anywhere or do anything. And I was praying extra hard these past couple of days to all of my guides and everything in the universe. And I got a phone call yesterday at about 11 o'clock telling me they're going to be here today at 7 a.m.
Yes. Now, everybody pay attention. How long does that process in the morning and the evening take you to call in all that support and to be in the state of conscious awareness of what you're calling in? How long would you say it takes you?
5, 10 minutes, maybe.
Daily spiritual practice right there.
As well
We
as
all think we don't have time, right? But if you don't have 5 to 10 minutes to do what she's doing, you're not going to get the call that finally you're getting things moving.
Yeah. So I would have wished to have more than 20 less, I had 18 hours in
Well, I
advance.
guess you have to be more specific next time then.
Yes, exactly. But it's wonderful, and it's all happening right now, and no banging right now because they're tearing my bathroom apart at the moment. So I just wanted to share that with you, share it with
Thank you.
everyone, because
Thank you so much. It's perfect because it's the perfect example of how manifesting abundance and being in flow works. And it requires daily maintenance.
Yep.
I know if I get up and get going in the morning too quickly and I don't do my morning routine, my meditation and communing with nature and calling in, I'm going to be off and I might not realize it until the evening. So that's why, and I'm speaking now, in my disrupted phase. In my normal phase of my old life, I wouldn't even get out of bed before I did all that. So establish a routine, as Pat has, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, while you're driving to work, wherever the time is, 5 minutes at lunch, to use this process of communing with the divine over what it is you seek to have. Thank you, Pat, for sharing that.
Yeah,
That was fabulous.
My
it
Thank
was
you.
super good to have
This
that
is great.
reminder.
Let's take one more. Eileen?
Yes, hi, let me turn on my video, sorry. Okay, my video is not working. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
I see you from within, Eileen.
Okay, thank you. So I have had a lot of unexpected surgeries lately, and I would just love to release this weird burning that nobody can figure out and whatever else needs to be released so I can have a fully abundant life.
So where do you feel the burning?
Sometimes in my stomach, but mainly in my mouth, especially in my tongue.
Okay, now I want you to close your eyes and bring your attention into the center of your heart, just establishing a connection with the earth and the heavens. And now I want you to imagine before you can view with your inner eye your timelines. There's from birth to the present and then beyond into the future. And at the point of your birth, there's 3 lines that branch off, one for mother's lineage, one for past lives, and one for father's. Now, I have no idea. I've never worked with you before, so I don't know what your comfort level is with this sort of work, but just go with me with it. And I want you to imagine that your inner witness observer self can float along your timeline from the present moment back, and you're looking for anything that lights up in relation to the sensation in your tongue and in your gut. Is there an origin before the current discomfort, dis-ease, surgical intervention situation that is also being played out with this burning sensation in your gut and your tongue? And as you scan back all the way, just notice anything that might be with your inner eye alighting on the present timeline. Now look back on mothers, and you're just floating above. Look back on your past life and fathers. When you observe your timelines and you consider the burning in your stomach and in your tongue, is there anything that's alighting on your timeline as a point of pain or an origin for this trapped trauma? Trust whatever is coming through. Don't overthink it. Feel it.
What was the third timeline? The mother, the father, and what was
past life?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is that the one?
I don't know. Right.
Look at the past life timeline and just go back. Is anything calling to you, speaking to you? Is the burning sensation activating as you consider your past life timeline?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay, about halfway back, whatever that means, I have no idea. There's a spot that is causing great indigestion in my chest. So I want you to just imagine that you can find that same spot with me. If we were doing a one-on-one session, we would go through this with much more detail, but for the sake of time and the format that we're in, there's a spot about halfway back that burning was there was a traumatic burning that occurred in your past life. I want you to imagine, I'm doing this, you're just following along, and that is helping you open to how you can assess your own timeline, with some training down the line. But I'm opening a vortex, a rose quartz vortex, and setting it to running counterclockwise under that point. It's way back in kind of the Middle Ages, and there's some burning at the stake that's going on. We're letting all that trapped trauma, all that sensation of fear and doubt and hysteria and just pain that is happening be vacuumed out into that vortex. We're neutralizing this point of pain in your timeline. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, release through your root. Now we're going to drop that vortex into Mother Earth's heart, letting her transmute that for her own healing. And we're bringing golden grace light into your past timeline to reset everything. Place one hand on under your chin, so getting into the vicinity of your tongue, and one on your gut. And as we infuse diamond white light into your past life timeline, receive that same light of resetting and up leveling through your crown. Let it flow down through the whole of you. Release your hands. And now see all the other timelines, mother's line, father's line, and this present line going into the future, all being infused with diamond white light and the frequency of all needs met and flowing with ease, grace, and radiant, vibrant health. Take a breath in. Release your timelines. Bring all your conscious awareness, all your attention back to you. And open your eyes. Take a look about the space that you're in. Just noticing what you notice, what's shifted or changed, if the light or the air feels different. Just allowing your body a few moments to integrate. How is your tongue and your gut feeling at the moment?
My gut is okay, but my tongue is still burning a little bit. Can I ask you a question? When you said the steak, was I the one being burned?
What is your sense? Feel into it. And don't answer from your head, answer from your heart.
I think I was, maybe.
Yes, you were.
Was I a witch or was I
You
royalty?
were not, but you were accused of it. Anyone who knew stuff was accused of being a witch. I would have been accused of being a witch. Janet Lianka, Pat, all of us. I mean, all those things Pat just said, she would have been accused of a witch. Pat's not a witch. Pat's working the energy. Pat's doing what we came here to do. But the patriarchal system and structure has made that, because of power and control, into a bad thing. More likely, you were a healer and an herbalist who, because you could help people heal, was judged as a witch. So you want to keep working with that sensation on your tongue. If you use the palm of your hand like this, going up underneath, and even, I wouldn't be able to, but sticking the tongue out and letting, I mean, I have a very small tongue, so holding my tongue out of my mouth for a long period of time gets uncomfortable. If you can do that and have one hand hovering over the tongue and one under, and just keep bringing in that diamond white light that we brought in to reset and adjust, and talk to your tongue. It's all right. What do you need from me right now? And see and release that painful sensation of burning down through the core of you, out the root, out the base of the feet. Just keep inviting it to go out and down. And remember to bring in higher light. If you're guided to use a different color than diamond white, do so. But you need to bring something in to replace what you're releasing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're very
I've
welcome.
never done anything with past lives, so that was really interesting. Thank you.
That was very, it became very clear, straight, right when they said timeline clearing is needed. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like that's something that she's done before. And they said, then now's the time.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
In my
Love
work,
diamond white light too.
yeah, we would ask, like, is there
Dana.
something? So I would like you to kind of play with the question, but is there something that you're unable to digest that you're burning to say or express? And you don't have to answer. It's just something to kind of play with, right? It's kind of reads the feed.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So Beth, if you would like to go deeper with Beth, she put together a special offer for us, and I'm going to have her share that now. Beth, do you want to go ahead and talk about what it's like to work with you and how this all would go down?
So here's the thing. The session is going to be whatever you need it to be. As you have seen with the couple of people I've worked with, there's been a different angle for each one. That's because I'm following the field and following what your field is in need of to move past whatever is keeping you stuck, whatever that may be, and move into what more is possible for you. And then part of the offer, and the other thing is, I shouldn't, maybe ought not to say this out loud, but a 60-minute session with me ends when it's done, not at the 60-minute time. So there's that, as well as the additional support of being able to have ongoing access to a certain degree. I mean, obviously through communication by email and text, I can't do everything, but you have ongoing support with the work that we do in that session. I've also added in 3 months of participation in my monthly energy healing circle. Several of the members of that tribe are on this call, and some have been there since it started about 8 or 9 years ago. We journey, we activate, we move through whatever the M field, morphogenetic field is created. We have one now here from all of us coming together. Whenever we come together with people, a field is created. And so we've created a healing field, a very high vibrational field of healing and opening, awakening, and expansion into what more you're here to be, do, have, and create, what more is possible for you, that we then support with the journeys that we take and the activations that we do with the circle. So as part of the special offer for this show, I have included a 3-month membership in that as well. And if I will say this, if you are called, if you sense that there is an alignment between what I offer and embody and what you need to move forward, then don't wait. Don't, just take action. On this, the day of equinox, when the energy is so prolific for opening into what new beginnings are awaiting for you. So follow your heart and don't let the ego take you out.
Yeah, let me just say for you guys, with sessions that, I mean, these are very uniquely trained, conscious luminaries, for the lack of a better word. I mean, if you were to go and get like a regular psychology session, you're not going to get what you get if you actually work through your body, through the semantics of the body, with somebody that's trained in this and Akashic records and has all these various tools to guide you. I don't know if that even needs to be said, but when you
I will
read
say
some of these
this.
testimonials, I had a miracle, right?
Like that happens when working even just one session.
Yeah.
I know.
I hear it all the time.
Yes. And if you're called to work with one of the people that, who offer a session, just know that,
like these are always an invitation for you to really be able to explore.
Right. And it's usually
That's right.
At a fraction of the price that they normally
would charge. I mean,
right.
We work with every one of these speakers. And I just felt like I should say
that you did.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I want to add in something about the work that is amazing. So anyone who's followed me or who has worked with me knows I have a lot of teenagers in my life because I have teenage grandsons who I'm very close to. I'm living with them now since the fire. And in order to have a landline for my work, because I am old school and don't want to be on a cell phone, the base phone has to be in the family room where one of their friends is also an evacuee in there. And that's where they hang out, right? So they were all in there last night and I knock on the door and Oliver, my accountant grandson, says yes. And I said, I need to come in. Is that okay? Why? And I said, I need to switch out the phone. And Grace, one of the girls, says, oh gosh, not the phone again. I said, can I come in? Yeah. So I go in and I start switching out the phone. And they're like, why is this such a big deal? Why do you have to have landline? Now, mind you, these boys are people I've been hanging out with since they were 5 years old, going to the farmer's market driving them all over. Now they drive, so that's gone. But they're like, I don't know, nephews or something to me. And Quincy, the Buddha boy, says, why do you have to have that phone? For her work. You work? What's your work? And Henry, the musician, the creative, he turns to me and said, and Quincy says, well, part of her work is like, she's doing this show tomorrow. Show? What do you mean a show? You have a show? And he's like, well, it's like a podcast. No, they interview her. And then Henry turns and looks at me and says, who are you? And what do you do?
Right?
And so I gave him the title, right? And I'm like, shifting your DNA and the neuro. Henry, Pat has worked with Henry. Henry's doing great, Pat. You'll love this. And I tell him I do energy healing. I help people shift their DNA so they can move out of their familial programming, genetic programming, patriarchal nonsense, and into the life of abundance they seek to have. And he goes, "Can you do that for me?" And I said, "I absolutely can do that for you, Henry, but you have to take it seriously. And you have to show up when we do the session, and you have to be willing to be open." I'm there. I'm there. I'm here. I'm here now. And I'm like, we're not doing it now, but we will make an appointment. And what his session is going to look like is going to be so different from anyone else's, because he's clearly looking for something big in his life. He's still got that childlike enthusiasm of being, and I can feel it, his life as it is with his family. Not the one he wants to have. It's not bad. It's just not what he wants. And he can see it over here. He doesn't know how to get from where he is to over there. I can show him.
Right.
I can guide him.
I love that
and
so much.
he can then create his own miracles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's kind of funny, and it's always got to be that they ask for it.
Yes.
I love that.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, because it has to come from the seeker in them.
Yeah.
That's right. And then as the conversation continued, the one kind of shenanigan kid I won't name him, but he knows who he is. I love you, man. But he's calmed down now, but he was up to a bunch of nonsense for a while. And he turns and looks at me and he says, "You know what? I don't think any of us knew what you did, but I think you've been doing it on us all the time, haven't you?" And I said, "Yes, I have." And he's like, "That's why you're always talking to us about what we think." And I'm like, "That's exactly why I'm always talking about what you think. Hold a high thought." So I say that to everyone listening. Let your inner teenager fly free and let that one tell you what is yours to do, whomever that might be with. And it could be that you'll find great healing in nature, in the water. I mean, one of these twins told me, "I don't believe in God." And I said, "Tell me how it feels when you surf." And when he described that feeling, I said, "That's God." Eyes popped. I didn't know. How many of you are having direct experiences with the divine that you are not recognizing? Open your awareness and let it in.
Wow.
I love that so much.
Oh my gosh.
Normally we ask what are the parting words, but my goodness, I think
that was
it.
I love it so much.
The actual truly, right, Trish? Period. Boom, mic drop. Or so the kids were snowboarding in Tahoe, which was great. Lots of powder. And Oliver is the more cautious snowboarder. Quincy has a fierce heart of a champion. Even though he's a Buddha boy, he does not care. He will try anything. Oliver mastered a front 360, which is where you come off a jump and turn around. And at the end of the video, you hear Quincy saying, "Stomp that." S-H-I-T. I got to say it. "Stomp that shit, Ollie. You stomp that." Laughing. So I asked Oliver, "Is that how it felt?" He's like, "No, I was very nervous. I was very scared, and I was very proud all at the same time." So be willing to feel all the feelings.
Yeah.
So you too can stomp it, whatever you need to stomp. Those are my parting words of love and light and grace. Surrender, trust, and allow as you stomp into what more is yours.
Wow. Thank you, Beth. If you do want a session with Beth, you can find it in the chat link on YouTube. It'll be in the caption on YouTube. It's in the Zoom chat, and it is also going to be in the newsletter. So I would highly advise it.
I know.
Yeah.
Also, if you're not signed up for our newsletters, you can do that at www.hautehustle.com. And you can get all the free stuff that we offer, and lots of different speakers always give us different free gifts to offer. And so you can access that and get the speakers and the itineraries of who's coming up next, plus this very special offer that Beth had for us today.
Yeah.
And also
And
the
we've got,
replays.
and we've got some sneaky, awesome things too.
Yeah.
We have two programs that are made by a sound engineer. One is called Frequencies, and you can get 8 hertz frequencies that I use in the back of my meditations, is really where that first came from. And we also have one called Chakra Harmonics that I mentioned at the beginning of the call, which really works on your chakras. I've also gone into each of those and brought out my Arcturian channel and added fifth dimensional energy to that to help you spin them and awaken them in the field. So it's kind of a unique, different program. And if you just like to sample them and taste them, is what I like to call it, you can go to hautehustle.com/chakra. And that link is around, and you can also see it in the email, and it's in the caption on YouTube.
Any other announcements?
Just wanted to let the Mystique Society, that's our inner circle, know that there's now a new Facebook group. If you're not in it, I know some of you aren't, and we're working through that. But if you still need assistance with that, go ahead and send me an email.
At team@hautehustle.com. If you have interest in the Mystique Society, we meet once
a month.
Yes, once a month on the second Wednesday of each month. It's a very lovely group. We awaken our psychic abilities, really have some group facilitations. It's a lot of fun. It's a place where you have no judgment, and we really, really, dive deeper into, this mystical love of woo. As well as, if you have that interest, you can always email us too. If you have a question, you just want to know, like, hey, would this be a good fit for this? Happy to answer those questions too at team@hautehustle.com. And then also, did you have off the top of your head, the Mystique, the /Mystique URL? If they want to take a look at it.
It's in the caption on YouTube, and it's also at the bottom of the newsletter.
And I just want to remind you that we always do believe in giving back. So a portion of the proceeds goes to rising.up.org. And it is a organization that is nonprofit that is started by students that help to take in laptops and tablets. And they refurbish them for use for other students to use that might be in need of them. So really, really fun group there. And then any other, we'll be back on Tuesday.
The show is always live on Tuesday, Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help us
Yes,
change the
please.
world by helping out the
Liking,
algorithm.
subscribing, and commenting to YouTube. All right. Anything? So we'll see you next Tuesday. Gosh, I can't believe it's already Thursday.
That's right. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.